Early. Hey, bum crack. You and me, buddy. Hey, Ron. Yeah. What's going on? Tuesday. Oh, yeah, Tuesday. When you get old, you don't sometimes remember what day it is. Has the rain stopped? Yeah. It rained a bunch yesterday morning, real early, and then just kind of been drizzling the rest of the day. What's the weather doing? Let's see. It's just cloudy and chilly. Yeah, 44 degrees, which beats the snot out of Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, because those days are going to be cold. Friday stays below freezing all day. We're going to have like 40 hours of below freezing. I got 3 inches. We probably got an inch maybe. Hi, Terry Jim.
Hey, so you know when old people are forgetting what day it is, when you really have to worry is when you forget what season it is. When it's like coming up on Christmas and you're like, did you plant the garden yet? That's a true
That's a
story.
true
Yeah,
story.
that's a true story.
I,
Anyway.
I started my seeds last week. Yeah.
It's Easter time and you're asking what you're going to do for 4th of July, you know.
Yeah. The
Or it's
tomato
cold outside.
plants.
You can start a fire. Well, it is the end of July. Why don't you just like put on a sweatshirt or something?
Ugh. Just another day. I gotta go to the big city and go Christmas shopping today.
Oh, well, you waited down to the wire.
Oh yeah, I always do. I don't care.
Yeah,
Just so long as the people I love know that I love them and get them something.
yeah.
And then they can take it back because old man has no taste. Make sure I keep the receipt. Here's the receipt. Go take it back. Get it what you want. Yeah, good
My
old
gift to
Waco.
my gift to my family is me.
Yeah, there you go.
Tar is the reason for the season.
Yeah.
Ron, Gwen went to Waco yesterday and she said, "Oh my God, everything was so packed. Even at
I can
Walmart, she had to
imagine.
wait in line for like 20 minutes." Ugh. I hate to shop anyway, and
Yeah, I don't like it when there's crowds of people like and you're looking at stuff and there's just people all up on top of you and stuff. And
Christmas shopping is the worst though because I never know what to get people.
yeah, I know.
Is the Richland Mall still there? The mall, Waco Mall is still there. Was that called Richland? I guess it was. I thought it was just the Waco Mall. Yeah, the only businesses left in the Waco Mall is pretty much Penny's
Oh wow, you
and
still have a Penny's? Ours, I thought Penny's went out of business.
no, Penny's and Dillard's. In fact, there's two Dillards. There's like a men's Dillards and a women's
We
Dillards.
lost our pennies, but me and Jim were
And I haven't
driving.
seen a Dillard's in a long time.
But me and Jim were driving somewhere. I'm like, oh my God, Jim, look, it's a Sears. It was a real tiny Sears out there in Somerset. We went to that archery thing. I mean, I thought Sears was all gone too.
There was a mall on Lake Air Drive. It's just, there's a lot of strip, what do you call them? Strip stores, strip malls, strip.
Or like now they're like professional centers. There'd be like a dentist, a tax preparer. You know, they'll offer a lot of professional services, not so much shopping.
No, I don't
The
shop
mall
with
killed the
pennies. I
downtown.
shop at pennies.
The mall killed the downtown, and the internet killed the mall.
Yeah. They built a whole new shopping area in Waco, though. It's the,
It's the Koresh Shopping Center.
Oh my God! No! Oh,
That
too
was too soon.
Way too soon.
I'm sorry that
apologize for
every time
Tara.
you talk about Waco, that's the only thing that pops in my head. I've never been to Waco. It's probably a nice
He
area.
played that one song. It was that there's a wacko living in Waco. He would play his folk song on his guitar, or whatever.
Who did this?
Then David Koresh was showing video clips of people who
Oh,
were
really?
his cult members that survived.
Oh.
They had video of him playing this Waco song.
Huh.
It's really
I didn't know
up.
it was a thing. Anyway,
And
sorry.
there's nothing wrong with
Sadie, how you doing, buddy? Oh my gosh. If y'all haven't heard, Mr. Sadie's dad
I
passed
did hear
away.
about. Sorry for his father
Oh yeah, his
passing.
dad's passing.
I heard that last week, I think.
Did y'all have services or anything, or memorial something? You're good. Spreading the ashes in a favorite spot or some kind of deal. Funerals have gotten weird in certain situations. The ones in our families have been
Yeah,
just
I hear a lot of
traditional.
war.
You go to the church and everybody has a meal before the service, and then you have the service, and then we go out to the cemetery and plant them.
Yeah.
Just real traditional ours. Magnolia Bends. Yeah, I don't know. They're doing their part to revive the downtown, I guess. Downtown Waco.
Oh, man.
Even 15
Yeah,
years, 10 years
it's
ago
still
was kind of
somewhere.
slummy.
I just don't even want to hear about it, so just be quiet.
Oh no. Here, this goes with it too. It's a
Thank
hose
you.
holder.
Yeah, they put that Cabela's and Western Wear store and all sorts of stuff in a strip. It's not just a little strip mall, it's big stores. Bed Bath Beyond and those kind of places. That used to be a hopping place downtown. The service was yesterday. It was ugly. My brother went off on the whole room. It was epic. Oh my god.
Oh boy, nothing like a fight at a funeral. I've had a few of those.
I've been smashed at a funeral. Never gotten a fight.
Never got in a fight. Well, I don't mean like fisticuffs. I mean like, you just get words between people for whatever reason.
I helped. I was in Paulbury for my
Is this a story is this something that puts you in a good light?
No.
Okay, well, sometimes you don't have to share.
I was so drunk I could barely carry the casket.
Okay.
Well, I didn't know that's where they did funerals up there. I wasn't prepared for it. I mean, we're getting ready. It's 10 o'clock in the morning, and people are handing me liquor.
Okay,
I'm
don't
like,
step
what?
on these train cars. Okay, get up here.
And I'm broke, man. We put in a new oven and vent a hood, and we
Oh boy.
we
Well,
put
there's your
in
Christmas present to yourself.
uh, with a $4,000 auto repair, and we had just
Yeah.
one thing after another. I'm broke.
We just park that vehicle in the back 40 till Christmas is over, drive something else.
Yeah, I will say we are spending a lot of money right now too.
If you have 16 cars that are worth $500 a piece, it works out pretty good. It's a good system.
Yeah.
Oh. Sell some coins, Harbor's Hope says. Oh, that's harsh.
Yeah, not gonna
Poor
happen.
Todd. Todd left. He took his headphones off and left.
That's like, oh, so sell a gun so you can buy people Christmas presents. Yeah, they can kiss
Who would
my
do
horse.
that?
Not me.
Who would say that?
You said something about sell a gun to go buy a horse.
Well, that's different. That isn't Christmas
Yeah.
presents for other people. That's for me. Yeah, ask Jim what happens when all the cars are broke down. Well, you always got to have a redundancy.
Well, no, you buy it's like the Iranian Air Force when we weren't supplying Iran with weapons. They had. I talked to this guy from the War College from the Air Force. He's like, "Oh, well," I said, "How can they fight a war with Iraq and we're not sending them any spare parts?" They're like, "Oh, they're when they buy the airplane, when the Shah bought the airplane, he got parts package with it." I'm like, "Okay, well that doesn't make sense." So, and this is in an auditorium classroom thing, and I'm grilling this guy, this Air Force War College guy. So finally, he won't answer no more questions. I found out later from the guy who's representing the Marine Corps who was there. He pulls me aside. He says, "I'd like to talk to you about being a U.S. Marine." He says, "That guy, I know the answer to your question, but I can't tell you." He goes, "But I like your attitude." I later found out that the way the Iranians were
How did you get from this to cars?
fixing this is spare parts. The way that they were fixing their jets so they could fight with Iran, or the way the Iranians were able to fight with Iraq, was we were selling the weapons to Israel, and then Israel turned around and sold them to, yes, Iran, if you can believe it. I mean, strange bedfellows.
Amazing.
So that's how they were able to keep their U.S. jets in the air for the Iran.
And that's how Jim keeps his cars going.
Yes, I take steel parts from one and put them in the other one. So that's what you do if you're going
to Jim does,
buy all Fords or buy all Chevys.
I will say this. Jim, we don't take our cars to mechanic. Actually, Jim's pretty handy at mechanical work, so he diagnoses it himself and fixes it himself and buys the parts offline where you can get a better deal on parts. So there's a lot of stuff that Jim will do himself that if you took into a mechanic shop, yeah, it'd be over $1,000 in repairs.
Yeah, like when you take your car and you have all the brake lines replaced, and you drive it a week and one of the brake lines blow, and you're like, "What the hell?" And you find out that the person only replaced one brake line when you asked them specifically, "Please replace all my brake lines." That's why I do my brake lines.
This was a rebuilt transmission for the Suburban. I can't do that myself.
Well, yeah, if you're going to do that, you have to make sure you got transmission jack.
I don't think Dad wants to do that.
I did it once using my chest, and that's not easy. I lowered it by exhaling. I was able to lower the transmission down low enough where I could squeeze off from underneath my Jeep.
Wow, Silver Hustling 13. How you doing? Haven't seen you talk to you in
Pops.
I don't know. Yeah, Silver and Gold Stacking community calls me Pops. Golly, Silver Hustling 13. We've been buddies on YouTube for like 9 years.
Wow.
Right around 9, almost 10 years. We've been YouTube buddies.
So who's putting the transmission in the Suburban?
Oh, we did just about 6 weeks ago. The boy
what year
drives
is the
it.
Suburban? Oh, it's your kids?
Yeah, it's like 2013 or something.
Figures.
Oh.
What?
Chevrolet transmissions, they don't last for shit.
Tom,
I don't know.
You
I've
don't
driven.
even know what you're talking about.
I drove 2 Suburbans, never had transmission trouble. in either one of them.
Yeah.
And I drove all of them over 200,000 miles each.
I honestly, on a full size truck, I mean, and I like Suburbans too. I've never had transmission problems on a full size truck, and I work them. I mean, I pull stuff.
Only trannies I've ever had trouble with, and that, not to, and I, maybe they fixed it or whatever. These were older vehicles, was Chrysler.
Oh, Dodge, yeah.
That's the only ones I've had trouble with.
You
Ford,
know,
I never had transmission go.
we've had all kinds of vehicles. My dad was not he did. I mean, he liked Ford trucks. He liked Fords, but as far as company vehicles where they'd put 100,000 miles on them in a year, he really wasn't care. I mean, really didn't care what brand it was. But we never really had any problems with any of them, and I think it's because he serviced it like it was supposed to be. You know, every morning our crews would check the oil and transmission fuel. That was part of their morning ritual before they left the office, was to check, the fluids and everything in them. And I think a lot of people have problems with cars, which GM did have a problem with the transmissions that's in the Saturn Outlook. GMC's got, whatever class the same model that the GMC has. They had a bad problem with their transmissions. And I mean, that was just a thing everybody knew about. But I don't think people really, if they take care of their vehicles and service them like they're supposed to and don't drive them like there's no tomorrow, I think people they're all about the same, except for the big Dodges with their transmissions.
And you are talking about a Saturn. You are judging all of GM products off of a Saturn.
I mean, when when they gave you a balloon and then everybody made a fun or a joy circle around you in the car, and they all clap and sing "Happy Car Day" when you drive the car away. Okay, what did you expect was going to happen? I mean, how do you think the story's going to end?
Oh, yeah, they used to make a big deal when you bought a brand new
They take a
Saturn.
Polaroid picture of you and then pin it to the wall and stuff. It was nuts.
Really?
Yeah, of course the car's going to crap. Whenever there's people in a circle holding hands,
sell your weakest point.
Bad things are going to happen.
I just, that's my thoughts on it. People don't take care of their vehicles like they're supposed to, especially when somebody just posted a Suburban now costs about $100,000. I mean, just about.
Yeah, they are expensive.
Yeah.
That comes with age, because when I was younger, I'm like, oh, I'll drive it till the wheels fall off or whatever. But as you get older, it's like every creak and groan. Oh, that could be this or that could be that, because through life you've experienced all these car problems, so you potentially know. Like,
I had a friend who she bought. I think is it a 2007? And she bought it or 2008. She bought it brand new. It was a Ford 450 dually. It was a sharp truck, and I remember she had like $850 truck payment on it, which I'm like, that's so insane. I would never have a truck payment that high. And I think they borrowed I think it was like on the lot, it was like 80 or 85,000. I think that same truck now is like well over $100,000, isn't it, for a diesel ton and a quarter?
I paid off my only auto loan I ever had in my whole life in 1992.
The last auto loan I had, I paid off.
I bought a truck out of college.
In let me think, 13, I think. Or 12.
I don't know. I figure if I ain't got the money to buy the car, I don't need it.
When Roberta bought her car, they wanted her to said you can finance this thing up to 80 months.
How many years is 80 months?
No,
7.5
years or something
like that. Yeah,
because
when I bought that 3/4 ton Chevy, you could put it out on a 5-year, and I'm like, oh my God, a 5-year note on a car? I can't believe it, because like last time before that, I mean, car notes are always like 3 years. Well, they got to spread them out that far, though. I mean, otherwise you'd be paying a real lot of money for a car payment. Probably gets harder to sell cars when people have $1,000 car payment.
Well, she paid half of it down, and then she made about 4 payments and paid the rest of it off, just so she'd have a little activity on her credit, because we just don't borrow. We don't borrow money. But let me tell you about a fright I had last night because you got a teenage son.
You misplaced the blanket that you're wearing on your shoulders.
No. Sasha came
my
in from,
banky.
yeah. This thing's about 25 years old. Um, Sasha came in from work last night, and I was finishing up dinner, and so I told everybody dinner was ready. And Sasha never came into the kitchen, so I had heard him. He came home when it got in the shower, and I knew he was out of the shower, so I walked into dinner and said, "Sasha, dinner's ready." No response. I walked to the hallway and I said, "Sasha, dinner's ready." Still no response. So I I knocked on his door and just pushed it open, and he was sitting at his desk, and I said, "Sasha, dinner's ready." And he didn't say anything, but he was kind of like slumped over.
His earbuds.
And I'm thinking, my baby has died. And so I reached over and I shook him and I said, "Sasha, dinner's ready." Or I said, "Sasha." And he like sat up and said, "What?" And I noticed he had his earbuds in. He had dozed off with those earbuds and didn't hear me calling him. And I swear, it took me 2 bourbons before I could get that. I'm telling you, that really shook me up last night.
Oh.
You're not supposed to bury your children; they're supposed to bury you. But it did. It really upset me.
I'll tell you, you want to hear something that'll really scare you? Okay, this will scare the shit out of you. You're sitting in the living room minding your own business, and you hear a gunshot in the bedroom. I'm like, what in the Sam hell? Yeah, it's Jim who.
Dude, we don't need to share.
Yeah, who was messing around with his shotgun and shot a hole through our ceiling. But I'm like, oh my god, am I gonna go back there and he shot himself or something? Scared the living crap out of me.
It was jam, and I decided to clear jam inside the house. Don't do that, kids. Always take the firearm outside to clear jam.
Yeah.
Oh Lord!
Actually, you should never even bring it in the house loaded. Always unload before you enter a building.
So anyway, that was my fright for yesterday.
Oh, is Joanna talking? She needs a window for a car. We did a front windshield on our truck. We just went to you have these junkyard websites. You just go buy it and put it in.
Okay, it's not that easy.
No, and you got to plan if you're going to do it with your husband that you're going to argue with him and that. But me and Jim did do it ourselves.
You can buy a kit from Harbor Freight to cut out the old windshield.
Oh.
And then very carefully with 2 people, you need to carefully put the new windshield, the junkyard windshield in.
Yeah.
You need 2 people too. Don't try to do it by yourself.
No, and you will fight with your significant other while doing it.
We did it.
No.
My dad had a buddy back in the 80s, and the man was probably worth $20 million. And he would drive up to our office or our house because he was a friend of my dad and my mom's. And he had like a Chevy truck, and the hood on it was black, was a replacement, it's a replacement hood. His one door was yellow. The truck was supposed to be blue. One door was yellow. The other door was green because it was a farm truck. And if somebody drove into it with a tractor or whatnot, he'd just go buy whatever he could find. It was always the same model, but it was never the same color. And his wife would never ride with him. And Cole, I hope you're happy. She would never ride with him because he was so embarrassed by that truck. Cole, are you okay?
Well, I can tell you what driving a new shiny truck would get you. Friends and relatives trying to borrow money or your lawnmower. Because most people, the only thing, when people see you got something nicer than they do, it doesn't make them happy. It makes them envious. Or either they're envious or they say, oh, this person's got more than they need. They should give some of it to me.
Yeah, Glock. That's the reason he was worth so much money. His wife and my mother would fuss at my father and her husband because they would go out and they would spend some, they'd spend $20 and hadn't talked to them about it, whether it was in the budget or not. My dad told her one day, I know what I can spend and what I can't spend. Hey, Swag. Hey, Dad. How you doing?
So I think I was thefted.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I got a bag of it was mostly overalls. Old vintage overalls sell great on eBay. I got like 4 pair of them in a bag and at the rummage sale Thursday, and they are nowhere to be found. I think somebody just reached in and grabbed them up out of my car.
Huh.
Like,
Well, I
crime
wonder if they
never
knew they
happens
had
in our.
value, or if they were like, ah, damn, they're just a bunch of old pants.
I don't know why.
They probably thought they were like new jeans or something, like designer jeans or something.
I guess it was just a brown paper bag, with the little handles on it,
No.
and there was like 4 pair of overalls in there. I thought,
In
Well,
your
good. I
truck.
hope they had mice in them.
No, they were from the thrift store. They get rid of the mice the fight before them.
yeah. One good thing about the rummage sale is their clothes are at least washed. They don't smell like cigarettes or have tons of dog hair all over them.
Yeah, we get that. Actually, when we get stuff like that, it's either a storage unit or an auction.
Yeah, a lot of times these auctions, I don't know if it's because they get stored places for a while. Yeah, like you'll get these box lots and they're always good for mouse poop.
Yeah. Or they'll smell
Some-
like cigarettes so bad they literally make your eyes water.
Yeah, I'm like, well, if they needed those overalls real bad enough to steal them, I guess they need them more than I do.
Well, you probably find
That's my
that really
Christmas
stuff-
donation to the homeless people of small town Central Texas.
It's probably somebody who lives in the suburbs. Because
Probably.
the homeless people, that's why they got nothing. If they're out stealing good stuff, they'd have something.
Yeah, Mr. Sadie, sorry about your dad. You just need to block lag.
Why is he being bad?
He says misplaced items are the first sign of Alzheimer's.
I did kind of think that, but I didn't want to say it.
What's that?
Misplaced items is the first sign of Alzheimer's.
I've been misplaced.
Accusing people of stealing stuff is also one of the signs.
I lose my phone so much it's not even my cell phone so much it's not even funny.
Yeah.
Oh, it's possible I could have brought them in the house and they're hidden somewhere in my death pile, but I don't think so. I think somebody just
No.
grabbed them up. But I've found all kinds of stuff in my death pile.
We had somebody steal a bicycle from this house,
Yeah.
and I really can't think of anything else I've ever had stolen like that. It
With
was
all
a
the
truck
dogs you got,
bicycle.
they didn't alert you that somebody was in your yard?
No, I think it
Oh,
was
we got a
when we
big
were.
yard.
Well, no, and I think it was when we were moving here, so we would be gone. We'd come down and then we'd be gone.
Yeah, our driveway's like 400 feet long. So.
Yeah, and there's that lean-to building on the other end. And Jim had a Trek bike in there, and
I got a Yamaha golf cart we're going to use to go back and forth to that barn. So
We had some stuff stolen from our car like 15 years ago when we first moved here. And police came down, said, well, was the car unlocked? I said, yeah. Came in our carport, grabbed up everything, got all the change out of the ashtray and stuff like that. He said,
that's a tough way to make a
well, Jim used to have it where
the
they
cop said,
steal his
I know who
cigarette.
that is. They got an MO. I know who that is. They've been out of jail for like a couple of weeks now. I know who that is. Well, go get him. Bring me my $4.86 that was sitting in the ashtray.
Mr. Sadie says my pet peeve is when I can't find the remote, I start drinking Michelob.
Mick Ultra is the only thing that calms his nerves.
Well, be careful because somebody might have broken into your house.
Honestly, Jim was looking at Michelob Ultra at the grocery store because he's like, "Oh, this only has like what is it, like 4 calories or
So
4
4%
carbs?
alcohol.
Oh, 4% alcohol."
One of my pet peeves is going to the bathroom and there's only like 2 sheets left on the roll.
Well, that's when you just step right over into the shower.
Well, we always keep other rolls around, but it's just annoying that. And it could be either Gwen or me that leaves the
Well, if
roll
you're going to use
with
a
only
towel,
2.
don't use the one that's monogrammed.
Oh, God.
You
Totally
really can't
our
shelter
next
that.
house is going to have a butt washer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
I
nothing,
know, Glock.
there's nothing worse than situation critical and you're stuck on a toilet somewhere.
Wow, I've never used a Hilton towel before.
Oh, God.
This place is
I
fancy.
mean,
You know, I got
there's
a
no
story.
telling how much stuff I've gotten from like the auctions and stuff that just sat out in the back of my pickup for 2 days. And nobody messed with it.
We leave our keys in our car here. Honestly, we did it up in Eagle River too.
I will say this though: if you're speaking of auctions, though, if you're at a live auction and you have a pile of stuff, make sure you got somebody watching it because auction people will definitely steal off your pile.
Do you pay? Like if you win something, do you go pay for it then?
No, we
No.
pay for it at the end of the
Pay
Or
for it
auction.
at
you just build a pile and then you pay for it all at the
Yeah,
end.
well, because you're watching other stuff.
But you're responsible once you win the auction. You're responsible at the end. If you ain't got the stuff, that ain't their problem. You gotta pay for it whether you got it or not.
I'll be bidding and I'll have Jim will be running it back to the vehicle.
Yeah, because we have had people try to take stuff that came up missing, and we've seen people trying to take stuff that we've stopped. Because I don't know why, but it's like morality goes out the window or something. It's like, well, it's okay, it's an auction, I can take off the person's file.
Yeah, the days are gone when you can do that, Glock, because everybody's got a camera now. They'll video a cop pulling them over, and can't do probable cause like it used to could, I bet, before video stuff.
I was at Walmart not too long ago. I think it was last month, and this older woman was in there with her grandkids and her daughter, and her grandkids were acting up, and she turned around and she told them that she's going to tear their ass up if they didn't calm down right there. And her mom and the woman's daughter, which was the mother of the kids, said, "You can't talk to my kids like that." And the mother looked at her daughter, who was probably 30-something, and said, "Go sit in the car right now." And that daughter turned around and walked off. I guess she was going to go sit in the car because those 3 little kids had gotten on that old lady's last good nerve.
Okay, Tom, I'm still pissed at you.
Why?
Well, I took down yesterday's video. Not so much that I showed my social security number in it. I mean, yeah, I needed to take it down for that. But the fact that Tom goes, "Hey, you just showed your social security number," and alerted everybody in the world that I had done that.
I'm sorry.
You're supposed to send me a private message or something.
I don't know how to do that.
Oh, it's right there at the top of the thing.
Oh, private chat. Okay.
Yeah, see, there you go.
I'll remember that next time.
Yeah, you dumb effer. Sorry.
Yeah, can I ask why were you showing your social security number? Out of curiosity?
Yeah, we were going down memory lane with pictures, and I found my old draft card. And I was showing the old draft card, and Tom said, "Hey, you just showed your social security number." Of course, that number isn't good anymore. That was when I was in the witness protection plan, you know.
Okay.
So
when I went to school in Stevens Point, we had a campus directory. Well, your student ID number, because the social security number wasn't supposed to be used for ID, they used your social security number as your ID number for the school. The school phone directory had all the students' phone numbers in this directory with their student ID number, which was their social security number. I mean, so every student in that college, their social security number, if you still have one of those phone directories, you have every one of those person's social security number. Because that's what happens when you give out a number, you say it's not for ID, and then all of a sudden some idiot says, "Oh, it's making an ID number and keep it secret," after it's been published everywhere.
Where's that at?
University of Wisconsin, Stevens Point, our phone directory. It had every student. Every student got one, and it had every student's student ID number in it, which was your social security number.
Yeah, it used to not be a big deal.
Blah, blah, blah.
I remember that. Y'all won't remember it, but on the Art Linkletter show, he'd go out in the audience and interview people and give them a prize if they, for whatever. And he asked one guy if he could remember his social security number, and the guy just said it right there on national TV.
I didn't memorize mine until you had to use it for. Well, I had to do it in college because they'd ask for it all the time. But then after that, I mean, everybody wants your damn social security number. How many people have you given your social security number to? Hundreds. Yeah. And how the hell is it going to stay a secret?
My college ID has the social security number stamped right on it. You know, the raised numbers.
Right.
So they can run that machine when they sign you up for a class. Too. And
but, I mean, if you had a student directory, it probably had it in there too.
Anybody registering for college could just go around and write down all the numbers of everybody that showed up to sign up for classes.
Thank you.
I mean, at the time, I didn't think about it because it said right on the card not to be used for identification, so it didn't matter.
This guy died in 52. That's funny.
Like said, if you ever lose that card, he can send you a copy.
I know. He took a screenshot of it or something. He can just Photoshop me a new one.
Well, and it takes more than just social security number to do anything. You know what I mean? They're never happy with it. They're doing like, you know, their 6-point verification. Your social security number might be one of the things, but they're going to ask for 8 other things. Your mother-in-law size.
Did they go ahead and let him pay his electric bill, Sadie? I got a strange 7-Eleven gas station charge. Filled up the car, and the bill was $175 on my statement this morning. I was like, "Oh crap, here we go."
Well, if you had an electric car, you would. If you had an electric car, you wouldn't be worried about it.
Somebody that works at 7-Eleven overcharged me or something.
I spent $150 at a gas station in Oklahoma I'd never been to.
No, I think it was Omaha.
Or Omaha, yeah, it was $150.
Yeah, we were driving home from Florida, and he got skimmed somewhere. And he's putting gas coming home from Florida, so up through Tennessee and stuff, and he gets like, I don't know, $150 or $170 charge for a place out in Omaha, Nebraska. We got skimmed somewhere along the way.
Oh no.
And it said they bought it in the store. It was an in-store purchase.
Yeah, they make like a whole new debit card or credit card.
Yeah, because they make a fake credit card. And then download their information onto the smart chip, and then use it at the.
Because isn't it like they put a chip in the pump? It's not like it's a skimmer where it collects data and transmits it.
The gang will put somebody is in that place as an employee. They'll work there for like a week and then just split. Well, but while they're there, when nobody's watching them, they went to all the pumps and went inside the pump. They open up the bottom panel and they put this computer inside the pump, and then abandon it. Once it's done, once the gas station finds out, they of course remove it. But by then it's already transmitted all the information they need.
Okay, and you want to hear something really scary? Okay, I told you like last week I had bubble lights I listed that got taken down. Now, maybe I haven't looked in like over a year, so maybe eBay cracked down on it. But a year ago, you could buy those, those safety stickers they put on gas pumps that say "Do not break this seal" or whatever.
Right.
You could buy
Yeah.
those on eBay.
Because that's what you replace after when you go in, you break the seal to put the device inside the pump. Then when you put it back, then you put the new sticker on, the new safety inspection, and you could buy them for whatever state you live in. I wonder who's buying those.
Yeah, Mr. Sadie, when I used to have to do the paperwork on new employees, as long as they had the required documents that I needed, I didn't give a squat whether they were legit or not. That was not my problem. That was the IRS's problem. Because we'd always make copies of it and put it in their permanent file. Yellow Brick Road, I hate that your sister has been without power since Friday. And in Vermont, which means it's cold. And that cold front's coming through there. God, I feel bad for her.
Wow,
We're supposed to get like down to 0 here.
It's
Friday morning's supposed to be like 13 here. And like, oh, that's cold.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like 0 or 3 above here, which is cold
sweatshirt
here.
weather.
Yeah.
Sweatshirt weather. I know. Nikki sent out a picture of the snow, which looked like it was 5 feet deep up in Duluth. And I'm thinking to myself, well, Nikki probably put her nightgown on to go get the mail out of the mailbox.
Not wearing shorts anymore.
Yeah. I'll pull that generator up over, but it looks so cool.
Yeah.
I feel bad for you folks up north, especially with this freaky cold front we're having coming through, which is supposed to be cold here too, like down into the 20s.
Oh yeah.
We got a generator, and then it's not a real expensive one. I think it was be like $350. I want to tell you, man, that thing. We had like a 3-4 day power outage here, and it ran. Now with everything in the house runs on like less electricity except for the fridge, but it did run the fridge. But like the TV and stuff, that don't really take much juice. I just shut off anything unnecessary. We ran for like 4 days on that generator.
A friend of mine built a new house, and it's probably about 3,500 square feet. He's got when he built it, he had solar panels put on it, and he also had one of those natural gas generators.
Inches.
Oh yeah, okay.
And that's they were out. They lost that last big power outage we had here. They were out without power for like 3 days, or their neighborhood was, and they had every light on in the house because that generator is like overpowered for their house. But he went and spent the $20,000 now for it. And and when he was building it, and
we got Grandpa's generator when we moved him up from Florida, so we didn't have that kind of investment.
Yeah, I'm talking this generator is like in the $350 range.
Well, this is a permanent mount one that is tied into the breaker box. So when it's got a little switch in there that it can tell that there's no power coming from outside. There's
and it just turns it on. Yeah.
And it automatically flips this breaker and it cuts on.
Yeah. I used to see those a lot up north, those Generacs that are part of the house.
Okay, now if I told you could save like $5,500 by just going up to the breaker box and flipping the main before you juiced up your system.
No.
Oh, I guess because it turns on automatically. Yeah, because it starts by itself too. It'll start once a month just to test itself. I have the butler go check it. He takes a hot air balloon to the other side of our estate, and he goes and checks on the generator to make sure it's okay.
You're such an asshole.
And then he brings me back tea and crumpets or scones.
But we don't get the snow, but when we do get ice, it usually wreaks havoc down here. And then we get these things called hurricanes that come through every once in a while, or the outskirts of the hurricane that knocks down power line. And I don't know whether y'all heard about it or not. Upstate North Carolina, where somebody shot up a dadgum switching station for Duke Power. And
I saw where they shot up a thing. Yeah, transformers or whatever.
Oh man, I want to tell you, if you ever shoot one of those, do not admit you did it. They're expensive.
Yeah, and people will come hunt you down because those people were without power for
They
like
can hunt
4 or
down
5
shit.
days.
Did they find the person who did it?
Huh?
Did they find the person?
No, I don't know whether they did.
Oh, because up north, I mean, we get hunters would shoot them by accident all the time. But if you're stupid enough to go tell the power company, oops, I accidentally shot it. Wow. Hey, thanks for your honesty. Oh, by the way, here's your $80,000 bill.
Looks like Santa's not coming to Wall Street.
Uh-oh, is the stock market bad?
Yeah, it's been bad Friday, Monday, Tuesday.
That's because everybody's buying their old lady at that 5-carat flawless solitaire diamond, and
They're probably getting the early retail reports.
yeah. Yeah, I was talking to a
Well, they're
Walmart
talking.
guy,
I heard.
he said it's
I
kind of
heard.
been off this year.
They're talking about after the first of the year, they're gonna. Some of these companies are going to be doing layoffs and that.
Yeah.
But gold and silver are going the other way. They're going up.
I think I heard like they got one of these GE manufacturing plants in Louisville, and I want to say they're going to maybe lay off like 400 or 500 people or something.
Yeah, Amazon's laying off a bunch of people.
Gold to the moon.
Well, there
Back
you go.
above 1800.
Wow. Mr. Sadie, you got to just tell Santa he's got to back up on the gifts. Aren't all your granddaughters teenagers now?
Yellow Brick Road said her son works for a chip manufacturer and just laid off employees. Now, I thought we were having a chip shortage. You'd think they wouldn't be laying off employees.
That's probably not the same chip we were having a shortage of because all of those were coming from
yeah, but remember they were doing all that infrastructure to invest in U.S. chip manufacturing?
Joe's fixing it. Give him a little bit more time. You get another 5 years to fix this. I'm serious. I mean, they're talking about getting rid of Joe, like those sons of bitch. We need to keep this man. God love him.
Well, see, Mr. Sadie, the youngest two are the only ones that should be getting Santa Claus. The other ones are too big. They get a present. That's it.
Oh, girls of all ages like presents. Don't worry.
Yeah, I drove by this summer. I was going to a horse show, and I'm riding with somebody.
Kind of chips.
And he goes, "Hey, look there." He goes, "There's where all those Fords are parked waiting for their chips." And there must have been 70, 80,000 vehicles parked there waiting for chips out in a big like parking lot field. I mean, it was huge. I mean, like acreage of asphalt with all these cars parked on it. It was something to see. And I'm like, look at them. They're just all there baking in the sun.
Way back in the last century, I think it was the 1970s, you had a thing called the fuel crisis. The price of fuel went up. Inflation then went up. Interest rates then went up. Oh, and then what happened next? Oh, yeah, that's right. Unemployment went through the roof. I mean, it ain't even the new. I mean, everybody knows how the movie ends.
I think
this time we're not going to have Ronald Reagan at the tail end of it.
There's a guy down the street. He buys old cars, and I'm talking about all the smog control bullshit on it.
Oh, yeah.
And all the electronics. He buys them, fixes them up, and then he sells them. And he doesn't keep any too long. And I asked him, I said, who do you sell them to? And he said, well, people that realize that with the fuel that we have now, it burns so clean that you don't need half of the crap that's on it. And he said he's kind of tied into the prepper network. So, if any EMPs hit his trucks or these trucks or cars are
Me
still
too. My
He's taking
GMC.
off emissions shit off cars.
No, they're older ones, like our GMC, where you don't have all the electronic stuff in there.
Wait a minute, but Tom, he's not altering these vehicles to like take off emission stuff, is he? Like catalytic converters and smog pumps and stuff.
It's all that stuff. It's like 60 model.
Oh, okay, they're older than that. Okay,
Yeah.
Good enough. Okay, yeah, because I mean, if you deliberately do that, I mean, you could get your ass in big trouble.
In North Carolina, after there's 20 years old, something like that. You don't have to have the smog, not smog, but the
emissions testing.
emissions. Thank you.
That-
I don't live in an area where you have to have emissions testing.
That is true, but you still can't alter
Yeah.
emission stuff. You couldn't take a car and like retro it to like go back to an old like a spark or like a points and condenser. You couldn't take off that ignition system or put that ignition system into a car that's made to be run by a computer and stuff. If you affect the emissions, you're not supposed to do that, whether or not it gets emission tested. I mean, you could get in trouble. You can't replace catalytic conversion with a straight pipe.
Mm.
How young is your youngest child, Mr. Sadie? The love of my life won't even give me a GoPro 8.
I don't even know what that is.
That's a camera.
Oh boy,
It's an action camera.
I don't do any action.
I like
so.
action.
That's a GoPro 8.
See, only the rich folk have those.
Yeah.
But now they
Actually,
got like a
Polaroid.
We do
they
it
got
with,
like
we
a
do it with
9 or a 10 or 11
Yeah,
or
there's a
something.
10.
we just rapidly take instant Polaroid pictures and then tape them together.
And flip through 'em.
Flip through them like a flip book.
I was watching a video of a band that I follow, and that whole music video was shot with an Apple 10. And I'm gonna tell you what, who would go out and spend a bunch of dadgum money for a dadgum professional camera when your cell phone can shoot the kind of video it was shooting? I mean, it was so good. Yeah, Mr. Sadie, I know what you mean. My hoodlums around here, I try to give them stuff that they want, and they can afford to buy themselves, but they just don't.
36.
I thought Mr. Sadie was only like 55 years old.
Oh, they started having babies when he was like 12.
I believe it.
Mr. Sadie starts young.
I
He
mean,
goes from 6th grade to fatherhood.
I'm serious. I thought Mr. Sadie was only like in his mid 50s.
I think he's Jim's age, isn't he?
I got a pack and play for my 8th grade graduation for my kid. Oh my god! When I was in the dorms, and this is a true story. This guy named Rodney. Okay, I gave Rodney a beer too. It's me and my roommate's name was Eric. He's a black guy. Okay, one of his friends, this Rodney, they're both from Milwaukee. Okay, so Rodney comes in. Me and Eric are having a beer. It's when the drinking age in Wisconsin was 19. It's before I went to 21. But you were in that graduated stage. Well, this guy comes in, and I knew Rodney had a kid because I seen it when he moved in. He had this little 3-year-old boy running around. I'm like, okay, he's in college, but he's got a 3-year-old kid, whatever. So we're all sitting in me and my roommate are in my dorm room. Rodney comes in, and me and my roommate are drinking a beer. I go, hey, Rodney, you want a beer? He goes, oh, because I'm the RA on the wing. I'm in charge of enforcing the rules. I go, yeah, have a beer. He's like, oh no, man, no, I better not. I'm like, what do you mean you better not? Go ahead. I go, I think it's cheap beer. You're not putting me out or nothing. Go have one. He's like, all right, man. And they used to call me Dex. He goes, Dex, you're cool, man. So he's okay. So he pops the top. He's drinking a beer. He's like, he goes, all right, thanks a lot. Leaves. I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then my roommate looks at me and goes, yeah, Dex, man, you are cool. And I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, yeah, Rodney's only 18. I go, son of a bitch. I didn't know that. I go, yeah, he's got a 3-year-old kid. He's like, yeah. I'm like, okay.
Damn, your oldest kid is 34. How old were you? Like 12 when she was born? I didn't think you were. I thought you was up there with Tara.
Up there with Tara? What the hell is that? I don't like the way you said that.
Tara keeps asking me if he has gray hairs, and I'm always like, no.
Not the way you say it sounds like you're lying.
No, she.
Jeez.
No, you're not. Dang, girl. I don't know what you've been doing, but you need to bottle it and sell it because you don't look 57.
Oh, you're the same age as Jim, too. He's 57, too.
Am I 7 or 8?
No, you're 7 yet.
Okay, good. Holding on to it. I'm holding on to 49.
Hey, I'm 49. I'm really
You better
40.
hold on to it.
I'm really 49.
I would kill to be 49 again.
You don't claim him as your son, Al.
Oh Lord, dude. Felix says his oldest is 22 and my youngest is 10.
Jim's oldest is he 32 now?
I was born in 89.
So he was 30 and 19, and so he'll be 33 this February, and his youngest is 15.
Yeah, my oldest is 40. Oh my God.
Oh wow, you have a 40-year-old? Wow,
Mm,
freaky.
it is.
A friend of mine, his first wife passed away and he got married again, but he's got a granddaughter that's he's got a granddaughter that's older than his daughter, which is his youngest child by his second wife, and she's 12. And I'm like, dude. Really?
It actually is the kid actually his, or did he get the kid?
No, it's his.
marriage?
It's his.
That friend of mine.
Good for him.
That friend of mine. His youngest daughter is younger than his grandchildren.
He married a young lady who didn't have any kids, and actually on the back of her car, her tag is T wife. That's her custom tag.
Oh, trophy wife.
Trophy wife. But she's not. I mean, she's not really that stereotype, but that's what he always says. This is my trophy wife.
Well, girls of all ages like presents.
Well, my friends, they've always babied their little sister, and she gets more presents from her older brothers, which she has 4 older brothers, than she does from Santa Claus, and a lot nicer stuff from her older brothers. Because one of them is not married. And
if you want to keep a trophy wife, she needs a steady stream of presents.
Oh, she's
That's
tight
part of
with
the deal.
She's tight with her wallet.
That's horrible. They're gonna have to change his name to the 24-karat Jackrabbit.
Gold member.
If my children if I had grandchildren, and something happened to my children that they couldn't take care of their kids for some reason, or we had to step in because the economy's in the tubes because of Tara's president. We'll jump right in there and do what we got to, but
Tom's all baby crazy. He's ready to steal those grandbabies away.
Well,
don't you got one on the way yet? Didn't you just have your son get married like 2 weeks ago? She should be pregnant by now. Huh?
Yeah, no. They are young.
You talk about a cow.
They are young professionals. They're both
okay, just checking. You know when you go off on that honeymoon for the week, that's what you're supposed to do.
Now that Guernsey should be with calf by now. We need some more heads of cattle.
It's just like breeding horses.
Well, something's wrong with that bull.
I want them to finish with their school because she's working on getting her nurse practitioner license, and he's working on getting his master's in biology.
Well, I mean, Jim. Every woman Jim marries, he gets pregnant before he marries them. So I guess we should have gotten some advice from Jim.
That's what I tell the ladies. I won't make you happy, but I will make you pregnant.
You sound like you need to put him out in the stud.
How's that song go? I'm not as good as I once was, but just once I'm as good as I ever was.
Oh boy.
It's a one-shot deal.
Yeah, Roberta is 2 years younger than her uncle. Felix said, Mr. Sadie, my oldest brother's daughter is 9 months younger than me. Dude, I want them out of the house. I don't want any kids in the house for at least a little while. Because I know when we have grandkids.
Well, you got 2 more to marry off. You better get working on that.
I have talked to Miss McKee. She's an Indian wife finder person. I'm trying to find them.
Oh boy.
We're just going to do an arranged one. My oldest one doesn't have time. He says he doesn't have time for that nonsense. So we're just going to say, hey, you got to be here at 9 o'clock, 4 o'clock on Saturday the 16th because you get married that day. You know, Maggie, she's got 2 grandbabies and everything revolves around them. Poor old Mike is freezing to death up there in Philadelphia, and she's got to be near them grandbabies instead of moving to some place where it's warm. Yeah, Maggie, I'm talking about you if you're listening. Wow.
Oh my God. Mr. Sadie's wife's mother had 101 great grandkids. Wow. That's a prolific heritage line there.
You know, there's hobbies like model boat building or knitting.
Yeah, apparently they had one.
Yeah, apparently they did have a hobby. Everybody partaked in that hobby.
Oh boy.
I'll be back.
Bless you. Boy, you're really sneezing. So what else is new, Todd?
Nothing. It's about time.
Just
to go.
changing weather.
We'll watch Scott's show tomorrow.
Oh yeah, it's Scott tomorrow.
Damn, Mr. Felix. I have 2 brothers. I have 3 boys and no grandkids. I've got 4 nephews and nieces and 6 great nephews and nieces. So we're small. Mr. C says, he says, dang, Felix, I can't imagine. I hate moving just me. Flip that. Deb, how old are your grandkids?
Deb is in the chat.
Wow.
How many months have I been grandpa?
Couple.
Yeah. I've been a grandfather for 2 months.
My mom is one of 11 and my dad's one of 10, and they're little kids, little grandchildren. But
Wow.
yeah. Brandon's gonna bring his baby mama in one day.
No. He's a child yet. He's not gonna do that yet.
He's a teenager.
He's got a shoebox under his bed. It's got a fifth of Old Crow, a switchblade, and a carton of Lucky Strikes. He's got a little mustache working.
Did he go to school with his smokes rolled up in his sleeve?
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
He's got a leather motorcycle.
He's
jacket.
taller than me and Jim now. I think he's
What I'm
taller than
saying.
you, isn't he?
Time he's in freshman in high school, he's gonna be bringing the seniors home.
Yeah, great.
You know what this is, I mean, I'm not, this is fact. Before he goes to bed at night, every night, he reads the Bible for like a half an hour, and we don't tell him to. He does it on his own. I don't know where that apple fell from the tree, but
It's all them Amish girls he's running around with.
I guess
He
so.
hasn't been hanging. You don't hang out with them anymore. They quit doing auctions.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they haven't done auctions. Right around when COVID first hit, they shut down, and then they had a couple when they could reopen, but then they kind of gave that up. I don't know if they sold their auction business to these other people that really don't do much with it, and they're doing this. It's like I don't know if it's a food bank exactly, or if it's a place where if you're low income you can buy like discount groceries. Now they're involved with that somehow, but I really don't understand it. I mean, I've never been in it.
It's
It's not a salvage grocery, but it's something that the Amish, like up in Pennsylvania, have.
Yeah.
I forgot what it's called.
It's
and
one of these feed the hungry scam things, but
anyway.
My first car, Mr. said he was a 1965 four-door Corvair. That sucker, it would hug a curve. It would stay on the Corvette's tail through a curve. Of course, when you came onto the straightaway, it was gone. But that Corvair always sounded like it was going to explode. But it was a good car. Didn't cost me nothing. Shh, flag. But and now these kids have got to have all these expensive cars.
most of these kids don't have cars. They're still driving their parents' car.
Yeah, that's just it.
Because they're living in their parents' basement. They just got to walk to their parents' garage and get in their parents' car and go to work or whatever.
But as I've said before, I don't like to drive because the day that I got my driver's license or my restricted license where I could drive by myself up until it, dark, I was delivering and picking up paperwork for my dad. So there was really no fun in it. It was work, And my friends would say, yo, man, you get to drive all the time. And I'm like, yeah, but it's not for fun.
Oh.
So by the time I graduated from high school, I was done with driving.
You just had the butler drive you around then?
No, but my mom didn't. We didn't have a butler.
The chauffeur?
The hot air balloon pilot?
Driving
We
Mr.
didn't have
Tom.
hot air balloon pilot either.
Driving Mr. Tom.
My dad, my mom, and,
you ought to be in the funny papers.
my mom and dad have, or my mom now has money, but she can squeeze a penny till it turns black and blue. I mean, she has always been. She's not been cheap. We always had what we needed and a good many things that we just wanted, but she is not a frivolous spender. But that probably also comes back from the fact that they were dirt poor when they were young.
Yeah.
So.
Some of the most frugal family that was, as a family, very, except for the one son, extremely frugal family. And he gave me one of his old laptops. He says, "I'm throwing this away. Do you want it?" I said, "Oh yeah, it's not new, but it's not really super old. So yeah, I'll take it." By the way, he left his tax information on the laptop. And I want to tell you, my jaw just about hit the floor, and I'm not easily impressed. He was a partner in a good Chicago law firm.
Right.
His daughter, one of his daughters, was head of Parks and Rec for the city of Chicago, which included Soldiers Field, Shed Aquarium, the Field Museum, Science and Industry. She was in charge of that. So both daughters are lawyers. The son's a lawyer. The wife doesn't work. But anyway, those people, that family, she complained to me that the housekeeper was using paper towels because it was so expensive to buy paper towels to clean stuff. She thought that they should use wet rags and damp rags to clean stuff. So, I mean, they were super wealthy. I mean, this lady when you say she wasn't cheap, this lady was cheap.
Yeah.
You want to talk about pinching a penny? I mean, when the kid graduated law school, they got him this, whatever, some kind of fancy Rolex watch or whatever. So, I mean, they did, when it was time to give a gift or something like that, they weren't, tight. But, I mean, with daily household stuff, I mean, she was complaining about every single bill I would give her. She would just freak out over. It was just funny. But they had money they could never live to spend.
Yeah, but they're super frugal.
I always said that taught me something. I said that's probably how they got where they're at, because they didn't spend their money foolishly, and their ancestors didn't spend their money foolishly, and they got generational wealth.
But they did have to give out like $250,000 in charitable things to get their taxes down. Yeah.
A good friend of mine bought his son when he turned 16 and got his license.
That's called bribes.
A $50,000 Audi. And he drove it about, I guess, a couple of months. And he lost his license for doing 130 in a damn 55 zone. Because that Audi would fly. And he was 16 years old. Can't believe that. People just give their kids too much these days. They don't make them work for it. I say that as I have spoiled my kids. And my mom and dad have always spoiled our kids.
But they did get educated, and they're getting good jobs, so you did something right.
Well, I was just watching or listening to a news report, and they were talking about 20% of American households now have adult children living with, parents have adult children living with them now because of the economy and COVID and everything.
Wait a minute. What was that statistics? 20%?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like inflation's only gone up 8%. I mean, give me a break. I mean, you hear that everywhere. They got the kids are living with them. I mean, it's way more than 20%.
Well, rent has gone up.
Go ahead.
I said rent has gone up, so I suppose if you live in the city or somewhere where you have higher demand for rental, but I mean, even here, I think it's pretty tough to find a rental under $1,500-1,600. I mean, I saw an ad for an old single wide trailer that showed up on one of these Facebook things, and it was $800 a month, and it was tidy on the inside, but it was an old, like, early 80s single wide mobile home.
Yeah, unless you buy a house in the ghetto, it's going to run you at least $100,500. Your car's going to be $50. So how are you making it $15 an hour? How are you making these payments?
I did a thing on a mortgage calculator anyway, and it was something like, I don't know, it was something that popped up. I wasn't figuring out because I wouldn't borrow this much, but it was like if you bought a $250,000 house, your mortgage payment on that with whatever, let's say a minimum down payment was, it was over $1,600 a month for a mortgage payment.
Well, the house beside us is rent for $1,780 a month.
Yeah.
And it's 1,300 square feet, I think it is.
Sounds like you got some, Tom. You better take one of those home COVID or one of those home tests for whatever.
It's all those cats in the house.
Yeah. Or maybe it's cat allergy. Does the government send you?
That's because I was outside in the moisture.
Mm.
But that's right, Mr. Felix. The old saying, burp and taste it, fart and waste it.
Yeah. And house prices were high. I mean, they probably are coming down some now. I don't know. I haven't looked at the real estate market,
Yeah,
but
but
they were really high 2 years ago. I mean, they were doing really good. There was houses here when Jim's mom was. They would get over full price offers because you just had like a bidding war on them because they just didn't have enough inventory.
Yeah, newsflash: if you're mortgaged up the wazoo, you can't afford to sell the house
Yeah.
because you'd have nowhere to go.
No, but remember that one house that.
So what happens is the inventory dries up.
Yeah, but that one house you were happy they didn't get, that thing sold for like 15 or 20 grand over the ask price.
Oh yeah.
We Felix
Back then,
Roberta's
yeah.
got a
Who's
an
president
Indian
back
friend at work, and she sends her father-in-law money every month. This reason I want to, and I guess that's an Indian thing, and I'm talking about Indian, not American Indian, and so that's the reason I'm trying to hook my sons. It's not in a hurry to get married up with Indian girls, so I'll get a check every month.
Oh, there you go. That's a good idea. Do they send checks to their mother-in-laws too?
Just their father-in-laws.
Oh, well, that doesn't help me. Unless I get Jim to hand it right over to me.
I told my daughter-in-law, I said, now you can, if you want to send me a little stipend every month, now you just do that. She says, you sound like my father. I said, I'm your other father. But Scott must be out earning a living this morning.
Maybe. Maybe he needed to like not take a break so he could be ready for tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, folks, Sadie, it's good to see you back in the chat. I know it's been a rough week or so.
Mr. Sadie, she's supposed to be sending checks to your father.
And we'll see y'all tomorrow at Scott's show. And then, Tom, you want to do a show Thursday or me again?
Yeah, I'll do a show Thursday.
Okay.
Give you a break.
I don't know. It's getting so close to Christmas, so we may start getting busy. But we'll see.
Are you going to take any time off for Christmas?
Take time off.
Are y'all taking any time off for Christmas?
Hell no.
Yeah.
I gotta make money.
Hey Tara, we should take some time off.
Get the Learjet ready. We'll fly to the Bahamas for the week.
Every day's a day off for me.
Call the pilot, Jim. We'll fly out of here this week.
Oh, y'all are poor rich people. You only have a Learjet.
No, we're poor people.
I retired in 1991 and I don't regret it.
We're white trash poor.
All right.
Bye.
Todd, have a good day.
See you guys later.
Bye, y'all.